Happy Transformation Tuesday, August 4th, and welcome to another episode of Style by Stevie in my new home. You guys have seen it here with me. We are in the process of unpacking. We're just about done. I know I still have some organization to do here in my room. I'm in my new room at my new house. So I'm excited about that. I gave a little tour yesterday with my guests, the beautiful, the amazing Friday, and that was such a good conversation. But we have, and I gave him a new nickname, Sexual Chocolate, Marcos Luis, the host of One Mic Night podcast, who I've had the honor of doing an interview with, and it was an amazing interview. And I think that interview was over 1,200 views, if I'm not mistaken. It was one of the most watched interviews. So thank y'all for tuning in and watching that. But how have you been? It's been a minute.
It's definitely been a minute. I'm doing well. I'm doing really well. Been busy, busy.
The same here. I understand in the process of moving. Shout outs to my brother K Tooks, host of the K Tooks Spot. Make sure you guys go and check him out. And we have a collaboration coming up sometime later this month, or is it sometime in November, brother? Let me know for sure. But welcome as you're just coming in to the dollhouse, the new dollhouse. And I can give you guys a little tour while I'm on with Marcos. Make sure that you guys like, share, and subscribe. As you guys can see, this is my room and it's coming along, as you can see. And y'all already know who that is on that picture back there behind me. Okay. Shout outs to Mr. Imperfect MUA. This is my living room. You guys can see it. I love it. I love it. I love it. And of course, I had to incorporate some more decor into it. Now I'm going to go ahead and go into my salon area. This is where the process to make me look like this will be happening. So this is my salon area. So you guys can see it. It's coming along. Got things to do. We're back. We still got some things to do. We're back, fashion dolls. So today we are here with the amazing Marcos Luis, who is the host of One Mic Night podcast. How have
I'm doing really well. It's been a busy couple years.
and it's been amazing to have someone on there who is able to have the hard hitting conversations and talk about world issues and what we can do as a solution to move forward. So, how have you been managing?
It's been hard. I mean, I think just in the last week or so, I've had to sort of tune out a lot of things because there's so much going on. The world's changing so quickly. So many dynamics are happening. First of all, it's hard to keep up. Second of all, if you get so involved in it, your own world starts to spin. So you got to take it in place. It's been tough. It's been tough.
Mentally, we as Marco said, it's important that you protect your peace. And I remember I had one of your guests on the show, Carolyn Jones, who was a good girlfriend of mine. She came on and she's just like, girl, you are on it. You guys have been seeing me engaged in the political conversation, and it drives K Tooks in the comments crazy. He's just like, sister, please don't discuss it. But I'm like, we're living in a time right now where it's just like end times. It feels like end times for each and every one of us. And it's important to know where everybody stands because they're showing us clearly who they are. And I know it can be mentally exhausting and draining for a lot of us. But it's important to make sure that you are creating a village and a tribe of like minded people. And I'm thankful for my tribe who keeps me grounded in the soil, who keeps me uplifted, and who pours into me daily during these times. Is important.
Absolutely right. And I think that if you are not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. So we have to get to a point where we do take control of what we do, and we have to find out about information. We can't just ignore what's happening because it affects our lives. The hard problem we have though is that most people in the United States are thinking about the micro situation and not the macro. The micro, it means like how I'm living day to day. Can I get food on my table? Are my lights on? How am I going to get my kids to school? Do I have enough for daycare? That's the micro. The 1% are thinking about the macro. They're thinking about how much money they can make. They're thinking about all these other dynamics that most people can't even start to think about. We want to get food. We want to get food on our table. We want gas in the car. So it's important for us to take charge, and we have to be interested in what's going on, because and it doesn't necessarily even have to be on a federal level. It has to be on a local level to figure out what's going on in our own community so we can make things happen and make change.
And you said the macro and the micro. The key word that comes to mind for me is affordability. And I
Yes.
know a lot of us are figuring out ways, as Marcos just said, with gas and with the price of groceries, keeping the power on in your homes. And then people are literally having to make sacrifices as it pertains to their medications
Absolutely.
or keeping, food in the house. You're having to scavenge and ration things out, and it should not have to be that way for each and every one of us. So it's important that you are creating yourself a village. My mom has been in and out of Charleston with my brother. She's with my youngest brother. I'm here in my own home with my older brother. We live together, but this is mainly my place. And I'm like, how do you find the balance between the two? It's a lot. You're having to make sure that you make sacrifices. Now I have bills that have to be paid, whereas before I didn't have to worry about that. So even with me having to ration things out, you're having to cut back on the things that you love, whether it may be going to a Knicks game, a New
Yeah.
York Knicks game. If you're
Right.
New Yorker, where Marcos is, the New Yorkers, the Knicks game, or if you're like me, can I go to the hair salon this month, or will I be able to get my nails done? I mean,
Do I
it's
go to
all of those
Starbucks every
things.
day and spend $5 on a coffee, or do I take that money that I use for Starbucks now and pay my for my insurance, my medical bills, or do I, buy another meal somewhere? Like, we're having to make some hard cut decisions, some important decisions right now. People's insurances are changing. I have a mother who's, a senior. You have Medicaid, or you have Medicaid, or you have Medicare, or your health insurance, and they're changing the way that they do things now. So you can't even get all the coverage you need. The average person may not even have medical care. So we're dealing with some hard times. It's almost like we're living in a third world country.
That was their goal. That was
Right.
their goal. For those of you who were wondering what is going on in the world, that was their goal, to make us look like a third world country, annexed off, where it's just like people are literally having to. And Taraji P. Henson, she said this: we have. We are all we have. We are having to depend on each other more than ever. That means a neighbor. My family is kind of divided right now, but when something happens, that's the only time we really come together. And that was something that my mom was saying. It shouldn't have to be that way for something to happen for us to have to come together. It should be families, and everybody should stick together. Call that person and work out your issues with that person. If it's a small little thing that can be fixed, trust, it'll get better. Work it out. Talk about your issues. Now would be the time to fix it, because we need our villages more than ever. Us as the Black
Absolutely.
collective, we need our villages more than ever. And that's something that you touched on your platform. You've had a gentleman on there, and he's just like, okay, what is the main key issues? And it also takes a toll. If you are a Black person in America right now, it takes a toll on you mentally. Mental health is an issue within the Black collective, and that's something that Marcos talks about on One Mic Night, as well as myself here on Style by Stevie. So yes, you're going to get the glam, you're going to get all of that, but I want to make sure that you're mentally okay. That's why I always do, every time I start to show off, hi Fashion Dolls, how are you doing? In every single interview, because I want to know how you are doing. Because I know it mentally takes a toll on you, turning on the news every single day. And that's what they want. They want us to be exhausted because of the propaganda that is being pushed out there. It's something new with this. This is not an administration. This is a regime. And they
Yeah.
are governing the same way, just like Marco said, a third world country. They are governing just like autocrats would govern. So if you go back in
Absolutely.
history, and y'all know I'm not just fabulous in fashion forwards, but I am a historian. So if you go back in time and you think about Mussolini and Hitler, the way they governed, that's the same exact way that they're governing. Rolling back rights that help
Hmm.
people, taking away people's health care, because they were supposed to extend, to Marco's point, the Affordable Care Act subsidies. And I'm gonna be nice. I'm gonna behave because Marcos is here. Y'all know I'm gonna go in on him. The House Speaker,
Let's
Le-
go. Let's go.
Poindexter. I gave him a nickname, Poindexter. Grinder Mike John. Hi, Mike. How those grinder notifications going again? Um, said that, hey, we've got volumes of ideas. We've got volumes of ideas. And RFK Jr. is in charge of our healthcare. We can't make this stuff up.
We
If
can't.
y'all
We
see
can't.
this most recent, I did a live about that this morning where he did an interview with Dana Bash on CNN, and the world saw it. We saw it as clear as day. That right there is white fear, not
Hmm.
just white fear, but it's dangerous because Black people, we have the most healthcare disparities. And by them taking away our health care, it puts us even more at risk. We're literally having to pay out of pocket. And shout outs to my colleague, Conscious TV, about this. He said that by the end of this year, your healthcare premiums, as Marcos just said, if you know you've got Medicaid, Medicare, them refusing to extend the Affordable Care Act subsidies, a lot of people are going to have to pay out of pocket. And that is not cheap. It is expensive.
Not cheap at all. And then what they're trying to do now is, Trump's coming out with his own drug line. He wants to make people buy that. He wants to undercut, the pharmaceutical company so he gets more money. Watch what they're doing. They're doing so many things. But here's the kicker is that we have billions of dollars in economic power as people of color. And if we could use that to help ourselves, that's what it's all about. When are we going to get to that point? When are we going to get to the point where we can drive and we can thrive and help each other? Get our own businesses. You go to the Black doctors, you go to the Black this, you open up a pharmaceutical company, you open up and we get back to that like Tulsa. Like back in the day when, we had thriving Black communities where the wealth and the money would stay within the community. I'm not saying that we have to put it, we can't go to other places, but we
Right.
got to make sure we have our things first. And I want to shout out somebody. If you guys have seen one of my podcast episodes, Nicole Murphy, she has an organization called I Barter Black. And what she has created is a community where you, as a Black business owner or person of color,
Uh-oh, I think we lost Marcos. Let me see something real quick. Yeah, I'm still good. I want to make sure my
and the money stays
internet.
in the community. So you, as a Black business owner, you have your company say, I have a podcast and I do media. Maybe I'm bartering my service to someone who needs a commercial or someone who needs some promotion. So they come on my podcast and my service is worth $500. So that those $500 bar bucks sit within the community,
Recycle the black dollar. That is something that
right?
I have been telling y'all about. It's recycling the black dollar. And as far as Black doctors
Right.
goes, Black doctors help you live a healthy, longer life. My doctor is a Black woman. She graduated Historically Black College University. She pledged the AKA sorority, and she is an amazing nutritionist. So the reason why I lost all of that weight, you guys see me able to fit into these beautiful gowns, is because of her. It is because of her and her telling me the things that I need to live a longer, healthier life. And I think I shared this with Marcos the last time he was here, or was it DeWitt? I think it was DeWitt and Marcos. You guys know that I am pre-diabetic. So I'm in the beginning stages of that. And when I went to the doctor for my most recent visit, she was saying that, oh my God, your GLP-1 and everything looks great. So make sure that you are taking care of yourself. Find you a Black doctor, because some of these doctors out here, I'm gonna behave. Some of them
Go ahead. No,
are
let's go. Let's go because I can jump in too.
some of them are out here working with the mass people, the melted people. I'm gonna give them a nickname, the melted people. If you know, you know. They are out here terrorizing and ripping apart Black communities. And some of them could be your doctors, could be your dentists, could be your podiatrists, could be your orthodontist, could be anybody. And they're out here working under the guise of ice. That's why I call them the melted people, because this November
Wow.
3rd, we're going to melt their asses. Make sure that you
Right.
go to the vote to the ballot box November 3rd. Make sure that you are registered to vote and vote like your life depends on it. Because this will be the last over 250 years. Your democracy is going away day by day by the strike of a pen, by the stroke of a pen. Every
That's
time
right.
he gets
That's
his
right.
orange fingers, his orange grubby paws on a pen, he's signing a law that is implemented and put in place. He didn't want to negotiate housing affordability unless the SAVE Act was passed. What that would do, I'm a woman, I'm a black trans woman, but I still occupied the space of woman. What that would do is take away my right to vote. Whoops, my bad. My girl T.S. Madison clocked it. They don't see trans women as women. Y'all see us as men. That's what y'all see us as. But biological women won't have, if you know, if it's your mating name, if you were married, your mating name, and it doesn't match up on your birth certificate, they're going to take away your right to vote. So yes, the SAVE Act is not just about disenfranchising black voters, it will also disenfranchise women. And what ratified and granted women the right to vote was the 19th Amendment. So
You're
that's why
absolutely
he's
right.
hell
Absolutely
bent.
right.
That's why they're hell bent on it. Two demographics, women and black people.
That's right. And black women, of course. So who are the most powerful voters there are. So here's the thing too, is one by one, if you know, if they're targeting me first, if they're targeting gay, if they're targeting trans, if they're targeting
Yep.
next, they just keep going down the list. They're targeting abortions, they're taking away all the rights that we have. But we told them, Miss Stevie, we told them Project 2025. We told you that is what the plan was. And look at what's happening. If you pull up 20 Project 2025, you can just check off a list of all the things that they've done, all the rights that they've taken away, all the changes they've made that are against the masses. This man is planning on running for another term. He doesn't even plan to leave office.
Oh, he'll be maggot food
That's
by the
it.
time he decides to run. Because listen, this man is almost 80. What? How old is Donald Trump? 80 years old. And you talking about
I
running a
think, yeah,
third
yeah.
or a
It is
fourth term?
right.
That's illegal. That's against the Constitution. You ain't gonna make it. Shout outs to Ray
And they're
Shonda,
trying to change it. He's
Leos.
trying to change it.
They're trying to. You're gonna have to go through. They're gonna have to rewrite that. They're gonna have to put that in there into new. But the 22nd Amendment what is it, prohibits someone from running more than two consecutive terms. So, like Marco said, if you don't think that he has any intentions on leaving, guess again. He's not going to leave peacefully. I have warned you time and time again. Again, this is exactly how authoritarianism and monarchs are made. And you can also thank the Supreme Court, the majority six, who granted this man immunity. But it's deeper than that. The issue is not just Donald Trump in itself. It's not just Orange Piggy. It's the people behind him. You got Squidward and you got Hanson from Scary Movie 2. Russ Boyd.
It's the small 1% of people who want the change. It's in their, they're afraid. It's the fear factor. It's the fear factor. But what's the solution? Part of the solution is that we all take a look around and see what we can do for our own advancement. We're at a time right now where technology, and I've said this before, technology, AI can level the playing ground for us to get financially stable, which is what we need to do. If you have a business, get your business together with AI. Start using AI to help you in business. Learn the skills because a lot of jobs are going to be replaced. You're going to be replaced. You have to get on board. You have to be open to the change in technology as much as you don't want to. Oh, I'm scared of AI. I don't want to do AI. You got to be on board. You got to have your finances. I'm on the stock market. This morning, the stock market was ripping, but it took me a while to get to a point where I could learn how to do the stock market. I made money today. We could all be making money. This is what they do. This is how they're advancing. We need to learn about trust funds. If you own property, put your house in a trust fund.
Oh yeah.
You know, if you have an LLC, put it in a trust fund. This way you don't have the taxes, you're not liable for a lot of things. We have to educate ourselves and we have to We have to educate other people. This is why we have our platform, so we can tell people we're here to help you. You're here to help us. I see people in the chat right here saying some brilliant stuff. This is where we come together and we teach one, and we learn.
from each other. And more importantly, make sure that you are following notable outlets. And I've mentioned Marcos on the show. I've mentioned Conscience, King Jibes, myself, Bubs the God. Is so many of us who are giving you this information on what you can do to excel as a black business. Because obviously, the last time I checked, Elon Musk is a trillionaire. And they've got wealthy off of our hard-earned tax-paying dollars.
Absolutely.
Just today, Donald
Absolutely.
Trump used our tax-paying dollars for something. Aaron Parnes, Midas Touch Network, just reported on that. I don't want my hard-earned tax-paying dollars to go to Bibi Netanyahu in Israel. That's not where our
Right.
money should be going to for a war with another country as well that wasn't even bothering us.
That's right. That's right. And not just one, but we have several countries that the United States is strong arming. Look at Cuba. He's got his foot on Cuba's neck. These people are living in destitute. I get messages every day from my friends who don't have food, and we as Americans aren't allowed to send them food. We aren't allowed to send them money. There's garbage in the streets. There's no electricity. No tiene corriente. They don't have power. You know? What do you do? How are these people supposed to live? Because we've cut off the energy and the fuel to this country. The U.S. has become a bully. We've become a bully, you know?
And that is
And so
because
how
of.
do we,
Go ahead, Marcos. I'll
I
get
was
to
just gonna say,
him.
and how do we survive? How do we stay above ground? And has the United States lost its compassion and empathy? When Elon Musk and Doge went in there and they cut off the aid to other countries, hasn't the United
USA.
States always been a country where we had empathy for other countries? You know how many people have died, in Africa from AIDS, and now Ebola has killed, thousands of people, where the U.S. would go in and help. What have we become? What have we become personally? It's time for some introspection and some action.
My God. Oh, Deshaun asked, where's the Epstein files? Oh, Todd Blanche was confirmed today. Breaking news. Did y'all know that? Did y'all know Todd
Mm-mm.
Blanche? Todd Blanche said that he's going to make it his
You got
business to
confirmed?
shield Orange Piggy from any sort of prosecution whatsoever. Yes, they normalized this, Deshaun. I couldn't see. Definitely recycling. That's a good idea of the dollar. Yes, recycle the black dollar. I couldn't see the comments, so I had to log in on my other phone. Welcome, welcome, welcome as you're just coming in. It's not just that they don't have medications. Older folks are dying in seconds. Yes, remember the beginning of his second term, a 76-year-old
Hmm.
woman who was on oxygen was taken off. Do y'all remember that story?
Right. Yep.
ICE is beating elderly people out in the streets, assaulting people. This is America. It's
Right.
America, and it's great for who? For 250 years. It's great for white supremacy.
What a
That's what it's great for.
Absolutely. That's what the Making America Great is that they're talking about. Taking us all the way back where we don't have any rights. If they could take our voting rights away, they would, you know? So that's why we urge everybody to go out and vote. You don't realize what it
They
took
got it
for us to
Section
get
2 of the
votes.
Voting Rights Act, Marcos. They voted
Right.
Section
Hmm.
2 of the Voting Rights Act. And Clarence Thomas, with his gap-toothed ass, sat up there on the Supreme Court. You have never been loyal to black people. We know where
Never.
you're loyal to. You and your wife,
Right.
Jenny. She big as a house, by the way.
You better remember where you came from, you know? Can't forget that.
And they talk about DEI initiative, but y'all also benefit from DEI as well also. So let's not forget that it's not just us. See, when y'all think about diversity, equity, and inclusion, you equate that to black, but diversity, equity, and inclusion is LGBT people. It is disabled people, which we don't talk about enough. It is Hispanic people. It is Asian people. It is so many different groups that are marginalized. It's not just black, and that
See,
includes
this
y'all
is what
too.
gets me. This is what gets me too. If you take a look, take a picture of the people, the cabinet that stands behind our president. What do they look like? A homogenous group of people. Take, for instance, the New York mayor, who they deem as a terrorist because of his religion.
Oh, they call them a
He's got the
communist.
most diverse
Yep.
communist, because he's a democratic socialist. He's got the most diverse cabinet there is. He's already balanced the budget for the first time in years in New York City. No other mayor has done that. He did it
Rent
yesterday.
freeze.
He came in, absolutely. He came in and started making the checklist. He stabilized rent here in New York for 3 years. So New Yorkers don't have to worry about an increase in rent. They're planning to put city grocery stores, one in each borough, where they can undercut the prices so that people have affordable food. You show your New York ID, they do every week. There's going to be a special. All the lettuce is a certain price. All the fish is a certain price to make it affordable for people to live here again. It's for the masses. That's what government is about. It should be for the masses. It's not just for a select 1%.
Deshaun, you said you got Candace Owens and Brandon Tatum. Fuck that bitch. And you talking about Brandon Tatum, Officer Conum, the one that's out here tap dancing. And
Right.
these parents just lost their child. And you have children, Officer Tatum. So I beg to differ to ask you, what would you do if it was one of your children? But you already let us know. You were the same coon that was sitting up there crying for a white supremacist who wouldn't piss on your black ass if you were on fire.
That's right. That's right.
And they put
Absolutely
his
right.
picture up on the Department of Education. On the side of the Department of Education. Keep in mind, this is the same week that Reverend Dr. Jesse Jackson, someone who was notable, someone who is a historical figure, who we should be studying,
A
who was
world
big
leader.
on education, world leader, who should be on the side of the Department of Education. But guess who's running the Department of Education, y'all? Y'all already know. And her husband, I wouldn't be surprised if he's in the Epstein files as well, too. Much scandal and allegations he has. Vince McMahon, Linda McMahon is in charge of that. Now, y'all
Linda
can't say I'm
McMahon.
not picking today
Exactly.
because everything that I just said is 100% true.
Right.
And they're covering it up, which is why, as Deshaun said in the comments, the Epstein files. What about the Epstein files? You got Todd Blanche that's covering it up. And he couldn't even look the victims in their eyes when these women were telling
Absolutely.
their stories. They were young girls. They were young girls.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And a government that wants to go after, well, not just the government, the president who wants to go after people who went after him for his own felonies.
Retribution.
He wants to go after, yeah, retribution. He wants to go after Letitia James. He wants to go after all these people, you know, who had him on a grill.
What's his name? Jack Smith. Jack Smith is another. Anybody who he deems as an enemy. See, authoritarian leaders do stuff like that. If you come after me while you're in some form of power, I'm going to come after you. Journalists as well too. They've targeted journalists. Keep in mind, this year they locked up Don Lemon.
That's right. They sure did. They sure did.
Why do you think that the head of ABC CBS, what's her name, Barry Weisner, is firing people? Notable journalists. Terry Moran was let go from what was it, CBS, ABC, one of the networks, just for speaking out against Stephen Miller.
Right. That's what they're doing, and if you saw the what was I can't remember the acronym for the dinner, the correspondent dinner. when
White
he
House
gave this, you
correspondent.
know, he was up there. He was the main speaker of the correspondent dinner. He was doing. It was like he was doing a stand-up comedy routine. You know, insulting all the people. It's all the press there. He's insulting everybody that's there. You know, it's ridiculous. It's
And I'm
ridiculous.
insult him every chance I get. I told Deshaun this. I said I'm not letting my size 11 stiletto off of his fucking neck. Every chance I get, I'm gonna roast Orange Piggy because you've got some an audacity to sit up here and
Oh my
call a
God.
journalist that was pushing back against you. You called her Piggy. You told her to be quiet, Piggy. No, you're the Orange Piggy. You keep eating all that McDonald's, all of that calories, all of that cholesterol. You're going to find out.
Oh,
Yes, the
well,
World Health Organization, that we withdrew from that. Again, RFK
right.
Jr., MAHA, Make America Healthy Again. But we're not healthy. We have a whole Ebola outbreak. We have an explosive diarrhea outbreak. We
The
can't eat
measles.
lettuce. Measles.
Yep.
COVID is
Measles.
still
Measles
here.
outbreak. Hmm.
Where are we healthy at?
Yeah.
And RFK Jr., you like to play with snakes. I would love to see you pick up a viper, boo. I would love to see you pick up a viper.
Well, I don't know. I think one thing that I do like that's happening right now in social media, and I don't know if you know anything about the Nolan Wells case that's happening. The young man who went to Hope Island in Mississippi with his friends. He was
God.
an athlete, young kid, 18 years old. And I'm sure everybody here, social media is going crazy about it. They just covered it up. They said there was no foul play. It was one young black man with a group of white kids, and all the white kids came back. The black kid found dead 2 days later, floating in the river. So
And there's so
social
much
media,
disinformation from
social
officer
media has now taken over because they basically closed the case. The coroner was like, "No, there was no foul play." One
Nancy
of the kids'
Grace's
parents was
friend.
a judge. Uh huh. One of the kids' parents was a judge, and then social media now has uncovered all these discrepancies with stories. So social media is now cracking the case because there was some foul play that happened in this. And I don't know if you guys, if you're in the chat box, write in what you think about it. But this is the thing that I love about what we can do as people with our own platforms. There are people who are taking on the story and investigating crimes that have to do with unfair situations like ours with racism. At first, everybody was saying, "Oh no, it's not racism. He's just a kid. His friends didn't have anything. They loved him. He was great." Well, that doesn't seem to be what's happening right now. The truth is
So
finally
if
coming
they
to
were
light.
his friends, why did they, as soon as his body was found, why did their social media pages why did they delete some stuff off of their
Disappear.
page?
Yep. Things. His Snapchat disappeared. His phone. He was found somewhere, but the phone, the mother tracked with the device that it was in somebody's house. So she went to the house and said, "You have Nolan's phone here." And they were like, "Huh? Oh, I don't know where it is. I don't know." And then one person who was in the house came out and was like, gave it to her, and all his pictures were, erased. The Snapchat was erased. The stories are not corroborating. There's too much discrepancy. So we need to get to the bottom of this.
And shout
Nancy
outs to
Grace, yep.
Conscious TV, who's been on the case. Shout outs
Hmm.
to Nancy Grace, who said, something isn't right here. You cannot fool a
Exactly.
prosecutor. You cannot fool a prosecutor and someone who has studied law like the back of their hand. And that's what we're doing
Hmm.
because the FBI is not going to do it. They're busy focusing on why did trying to make it seem as though Donald Trump won the 2020 election. Why are you investigating that when you should be investigating this? So it's not the DOJ, the Department of Justice, it's the Department of Justers. That's what they are. And you have Cash Patel, who
Exactly.
spent $76,000 to go sit with the men's hockey team with our hard-earned tax-paying dollars. His girlfriend is
Right.
getting the lavish treatment. being chaperoned by security to go to the hair salon. They're going on dates, they're going on private jets, and that's at us. We are footing the
On
bill
our
for
expense.
them. They ain't investigating a goddamn thing. What they're investigating is Donald Trump, and why is it that he lost the 2020 election? He lost fair in the discussion.
Well,
There's no need to reopen that.
well, actually, right now we're asking why. How did Kamala lose? Could there be something,
I can tell you
to
why.
that? Yeah, I could probably tell you why
Elon
too.
Musk, and I'm gonna give right now on August 4th, 2026, Elon Musk is preparing to interfere in the 2026 midterms the same way he did in the 2024 election. He opened his pocketbook and he purchased a president, and he's fixing to do it again. So beware. Make sure you vote in numbers too big to rig. This is not the
I
time.
think it's deeper
Whichever
than that.
presidential candidate comes up.
I think the money had a lot to do with it for sure, but you forget Elon Musk is also the king of AI.
And
So
Starlink. Remember, Starlink, the Super Bowl. And shout outs again to T.S. Madison because she called it, she clocked it. And that
right,
was why are these Starlink commercials popping up mysteriously? And the
right,
girlfriend is now coming out, the young lady, I don't know how true that is. With them, you don't know what's true and what's not true. But all I know is connect the dots. Starlink is connected to him.
absolutely, absolutely. And how did he know before the election was even over that Donald Trump won?
And that fat piece of shit didn't even break a sweat on the campaign trail, whereas Kamala going from city to city, less than
Right.
107 days in high heels. You go try to walk every city in high heels on stage, campaigning, breaking your back day in and day out. She did the work. And he said, oh, we have all the votes we need. And then what really put the nail in the coffin was this right here. Christians, get out and vote. I promise you, we'll have it fixed so good, you won't ever be able to vote again. I promise you. Now y'all are crying for this man to stop.
Right.
His
And
supporters.
here's the thing, too. Who are we looking at to represent us now? Who are we looking at to represent the Democratic Party? Why were people afraid to vote for a woman, a black woman, to lead this country? She had experience. She had way more experience than he did, minus
And
his
she's
last
not in the
presidency.
Epstein files. And she's not a
Absolutely.
34-time convicted felon or a 6-time failed businessman.
Absolutely.
But
So
y'all saw
what is
Donald
the
Trump. Y'all
problem?
saw a man.
Hmm. Exactly. That's it. That's the answer. The same thing with Hillary. Nobody wanted a woman. Nobody's ready for a woman to lead the United States.
Yeah.
When will we get to that point? A lot of women lead the family.
It's been that way for centuries. And Deshaun, I'll throw you guys a curveball. Hey, Chef Sky, how you doing, girl? Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'll throw you a curveball. Deshaun asked me about running. And I said, America's not ready for that yet. Y'all are not ready for a black trans woman and a young trans black woman. Keep in mind, I'm only 32 years old. How do I know so much about politics and history? Whereas I could be reading Vogue or Harper's Bazaar, but no, I do that, yes, but I also study and understand how politics and how the system works and how crooked it is to black people. But y'all are not ready for
That's
that.
right.
Y'all are not ready for
Right. And the go-to women would be Michelle Obama and maybe Oprah, you know? Um, so who else could we do? I wonder if Miss Stevie would even run for office in her city. Um, you know, what do you guys think? I think Miss Stevie's frozen right now, but I'd be curious.
And we're back.
I
You were
would-
saying?
Mhm. I was saying to everybody, would wonder if you would be interested in running for an office in your city.
In South Carolina.
Yeah,
Get
absolutely.
involved.
I'm talking about you,
Get
Miss
involved.
Stevie. I'm talking about you. Would you run for
What
office?
I
Hmm. You
That's
would do
what
great.
Deshaun asked me.
Yeah.
Deshaun asked me. Deshaun said froze. I'm moving on my end, and on the other phone, I do see where I'm frozen, and I'm back. Yes. Would I run? No, no, y'all not ready for that. Y'all.
Why not? Right. You should run. That's what I was saying. You would be great. Miss Stevie would be great. She has the knowledge of politics. She's for the people, and that's what the government is. The government is for the people. That's why we think you should run. The
And
government is for the
another thing that
people.
they thank you for saying that, because one thing that they are saying, well, we need to get rid of the social. Socialism is for the people. What Zoran is doing, where Marcos is at in New York, that's for the people.
That's for the people. What is government for? For the people. Yes, they lead, but it's for the people. They speak on behalf and they guide people in the direction, whether it's for good, health, like if we have COVID again, they get the information, they give it to the people so that they can help. They guide the people. They make the economy, they do all these things for the people. We have people, the police department is for the people to serve and protect. These are the people that we put in office to help make the rules for our society. We're the ones who determine that, right? And that's the way it goes. So these people, like police officers, they're working for us. They're there to serve and protect. And a lot of people fall into a space where it becomes power, it becomes money, it becomes greed. And that's not what we're looking for. That's exactly not what we're looking for. We're looking for an orderly society, you know, and that's right, Deshaun. Every time Democrats try to create something great, it's the surrounding areas with great ideas. The Republicans will take down or they don't want it, no matter what it is. Right. So the Republicans are trying to scale back on everything that we have done for a democratic society. I don't mean necessarily the Democratic Party, but a democratic society, where the rules are in place and it's for the people. And we all have an opportunity. There's nothing wrong with, don't get capitalism confused with that. We all have an opportunity as capitalists to do things, but a democratic society where rules govern, you know, where the rules govern the society, the masses, right? Socialism is the very definition for the people. Absolutely. You're absolutely right. That's what Miss Stevie said. The other party is trying to portray socialism as communism. The uneducated will believe anything they're told. That's right. And it's important for everybody. We say this. Miss Stevie says this. I say this all the time. Educate yourselves. Even when you're watching the news, don't watch just one source of news. Watch multiple sources of news and then make an educated decision. It's your right. It's your power to read and learn and then make an educated decision after that. You know? That's what we have to do. That's what carries this society. That's exactly what carries this society. Uneducated will believe anything they're told is indoctrination. The idea also takes away the real history of what happened to this country so they can throw lies. Absolutely. The history of this country is so deep, it's so long, and it's so important to know. What worked, where people came from, the history of this country, and that everything that has been done is valid. It may not be right, but it's valid. And we have to accept what has been done in this country in order to move ahead, in order to make better decisions about what's happened or what will happen or what can happen to make this a better society. They're even trying to teach the children like lies like Donald Trump's the hero. That's right. They are whitewashing. They are propaganda is in place. Exactly. Exactly. That Donald Trump, is the hero. They're going to rewrite history. Absolutely. You're absolutely right. They're trying to
And
rewrite
I'm back.
history.
I'm back. I had to. We were buffering a little bit. It's my box over here. I'm by the window. But Marcos asked me about running. Deshaun asked me as well too. I could try, but I don't think South Carolina is ready for a black trans woman. We haven't gotten that far yet.
How do you know? How do you know unless you run? How do you know unless you run? It's not about being black and trans, even though that's, important to who you are.
Yeah.
It's about someone who's there to give, you know, uh, uh, to help with laws and acceptance and, making sure all the laws are in place. Yes, people celebrate you as black and trans, but everything else goes along with that too. How do you know they're not ready?
Until we unpack the issue of transphobia within our community, and mainly in the black collective, it's still a lot of work to do. And I think that we'll be stuck here until people sit down and have the hard hitting conversations. And I had the same conversation with Deshaun as well too, about things that we can do to move forward. A lot of us. So who knows? I
Well,
might. Now
I'm
that
I'm
y'all
I'm
gave me,
thinking that there's no better time than now because of the awareness, because of the laws that they're trying to roll back. More people are aware of it, of trans people, of gay people.
uh,
So, you know what I mean?
I was reading what Black Native just said, and I'm listening to what Marco says. She says that you may not win, Stevie, but you will bring much needed attention to the
Absolutely.
way we are all headed in society. And speaking of
That's my point.
attention, I
That's
want
my
to go
point.
back to what Deshaun just said about they're already banning books. They're banning books. They're trying to rewrite history. What is it? What is called is whitewashing. They want us to learn about, let's see, Christopher Columbus. They
Hmm.
want us to learn about General Robert E. Lee, and they want us to have Donald. I mean, literally, you can't make this up. Was it Ryan Walters in Oklahoma who says that we're going to place the Bibles, order the stack of patent leather Bibles to put in the classroom? It should be church and state should be separated. How people worship and do in their own time, that should be their own, not the government having anything to do with that. Oh no. But as far as Donald Trump being a hero where? He's a draft dodger. And his bone
That's the
spurs.
start. He's a draft dodger. You
Where
said
is
the
he a
rest
hero? The
earlier.
same way
Felon, pedophile,
Corey a
you know,
racist. I mean, we could
that's
go
right.
on. The
Keep
same way
going.
Cory Booker got out here and called Ladybug Lindsey Graham a hero. And you want me to learn about him?
That's crazy. That's crazy. I want to give a shout out too to Magic Smile 13. Everyone who lives here is a member of society and has an obligation to be knowledgeable and participate however they can to improve the lives of everyone. Absolutely. Also, Black Native. This is Kino. He's a author and jewelry designer.
I said
Uh,
she.
oh,
Please
that's
forgive me, baby.
okay. Kino Native. I mean, Black Native is Kino. You may not win, Stevie, but you will bring much needed attention. That's exactly right. You don't know. You don't know.
I'll try, y'all. Y'all making me open up and
You know,
consider, but
you could be the
I live in
catalyst.
keep in mind, I'm the only one in South Carolina who's doing something like this, even with this platform, with this talk show, Style by Stevie. I don't think there are no people in the queer community who took a big, bold, brave step except for myself. So like Marco said, I might be the first. The idea is to also have people think low vibrational. He is low vibrational. He's so low vibrational that he's shaped like a fucking hefty bag. That's how vibrational he is, Deshaun. It's called indoctrination when you can have people believing the same exact thing. Just like with Jim Jones. Y'all know about David Koresh and Waco and Jim Jones, the Jim Jones cult. And I'm
Mhm.
probably going to do a lesson. My tomorrow morning walk might be a whole dissertation on Jim Jones and how his cult got started. And we saw the end result of the Jonestown massacre.
We
Donald
need
Trump's,
refreshers like that. A lot of people don't know
yes,
this history, and a lot of people have forgotten it or never taught it. We definitely need refreshers on that.
check Trump's family history. His grandfather made money from a brothel in Canada. Yep. His grandfather was a coward. Yep. stepped into the military. Oh, and let's not forget also Black Native Keno that his father in 1927, I don't know, a lot of people know it needs to be put out here more, was is a documented Klansman and was
Mm,
caught at a
that's
free
right.
for all in 1927 at a KKK rally. What was his father doing there? What was John
Yep.
Trump doing there?
That's right. That's right.
Birthright citizens? Oh yeah. Your wife is in the Epstein files as well too. We saw what Melania tried to do. She tried to pull the wool over our eyes, got out there and hurry up, and she did a press conference. He had no clue, and he was pissed about it. I loved every minute of it. It is every day with this regime is something. It's literally as the White House turns. And we're literally seeing a reality show.
And it's
Oh, you're
terrible.
talking about couch fucker, Deshaun, JD Vance, the one that wears the eyeliner. Couch fucker. That's yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I told y'all not to get me started. Said I was going to behave. Y'all got me cutting up in front of Marcos. I know Barron Trump, Barron's older brother, Bear both. Yeah, they're talking about sending people to war with Iran. Would you go to Iran? No. What is it? Yeah. Would you go to fight the war with Iran? And people are saying
Right.
no.
Right.
76%
Right.
of people disagree with this whole war with Iran. It says that Iran was no threat. Even Tulsi Gabbard, who I do not agree with, said that Iran posed no threat to us. So
Right.
why are we at war with another country who was not bothering us?
There's got to be a deep reason. That's the thing, is we don't know all these ins and out.
Bibi Netanyahu, you went and you decided to fight this war, but you're busy sucking off Bibi Netanyahu, Orange Piggy. That's what
Exactly.
you're doing.
And we have to wonder why. Why is the United States so up Israel's ass? Excuse my French. Why are we at the beck and call of that country when we're touted to be the number one country in the world? Why are we doing all this stuff?
JD Vance is a puppet. Thank you, Black Native. That's the same thing I've been telling Deshaun, and I need everybody else to understand. JD Vance was put there by Peter Thiel. He is Peter Thiel's project. And Peter Thiel gave Donald Trump an ultimatum. Either you accept him as your vice president or I'm not backing your campaign fund. These are all of Donald Trump's rich donor friends. Keep in mind that photo at that inauguration where he was
Right.
sworn in. Look in
Hmm.
that box. What do you see? I call it a box full of oligarchs. You had Elon Musk there. You had Mark Zuckerberg there. You have Jeff Bezos, keep in mind, who is the owner of Amazon, the Washington Post. The Washington Post came out and said, hey, we're not going to endorse any candidate. This is where democracy dies in darkness. They said it as plain and loud, as clear as day. It is white in front of your face. White in front of your face.
What?
Who
Yeah.
else was there? Peter Thiel was there.
Hmm.
And Peter Thiel gave Donald Trump an ultimatum. You accept him or I'm not funding you. And guess who he's paying back with our hard-earned tax-paying dollars? All of these big corporate donors who donated to
Absolutely.
him. It's all about
Absolutely.
the money. When Joe
Including the people that own the detention centers. They're making money too. The ICE
oh yeah, keep
detention
in
centers.
mind,
All of them.
1.7 billion will go to ICE by next year, by
Yep.
2027.
Yep.
Yes, Peter Thiel fled the country, Deshaun. He sure did. What did T.S. Madison tell you about those white gays, Deshaun? They will choose their whiteness before they choose the betterment for overall humanity. And don't get me started on Caitlyn Jenner.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Absolutely right.
It's all about white fear, Deshaun. That's what it is. It's white fear. We fear a white only minority, which is why you see Elon Musk and so many others get out here on social media and say, well, women got to populate more. Women got to have more babies. You're taking away contraceptives and all of the things that women need for life saving care. What are they going to do? You want more babies. You want more pregnancies. You fear a white only minority and you want to erase and basically wipe out. Remember, he called for mass civilization in Iran.
That's right. Yep. Decimate the whole country.
Oh, they're simply afraid. Oh yeah. They don't want, they know that black people, like Marco said earlier in the show, we have a voting power like none other, and we vote in large numbers. So what they're doing is dismantling. We got to
Dismantling
dismantle. We
that
got to
whole
get
situation.
ahead of the
Right.
ball. We got to get ahead of it. We're gonna go on ahead and try to plot ourselves.
Hmm.
This is his plot
Let's
right here.
rezone this area so this voting is none, and they don't have the electoral votes, and this one, and yeah, that's what they're doing. That's exactly what they're doing.
How are you going to bring babies into the world with so many narcissistic white women? Ask white women because they voted the same way that their husbands
Their
vote.
husbands voted. Right. That's right. And once again, it goes back to what you just said. They voted for whiteness, and there's no other answer. There's no other answer.
White privilege. They wouldn't work so hard to eliminate the black vote if we didn't have that much power. And the sad part is you have people who look like us in positions of power. Clarence Thomas,
Right.
who's never been for his people. Keep in mind.
And he's lucky because he has a lifetime appointment. Otherwise, his ass would be gone.
And what were you doing at Mike Johnson's office or meeting with the Republicans? What were you doing there? All of this is ahead of November because after this month of September, October, my birthday month, I will be 33 years old. And then November 3rd, boom, we'll be here. Why are they doing all of these things? Why is Kash Patel taking a trip to Moscow? Connect the dots, y'all.
Yeah,
Maxine Waters said this on The Real Daytime years ago. She said, follow the money.
that's right. And so that's the question is what can we do? We can sit here and we can bitch about it all we want to, but what do we do? How do we galvanize ourselves to get to a place where we can reclaim our one, our history, two, our society, and three, move forward, not only individually, but move forward collectively. We got to get to a place where we have food on the table, where we can survive, where we can like go back to what I said earlier. We, places like New York where Mondani has uh, instituted daycare for children so that people can go to work. They have free daycare for their kids now, for kindergartners, so mothers can go to work and not have to worry about that expense. Why can't we all get to that? Why don't we have medical care for the entire country? That's a basic. We all need medical care. That's one less burden we have to worry about. Preventive care. We need to get to that point. If you have enough money to choose a private doctor, so be it. But everybody needs basic care.
Exactly. And that's what it's about. 100 voted. Start with voting. Yes, what is Kash Patel doing in Moscow? I can tell you what he's doing. He's doing exactly what Donald Trump. Because see, Kash Patel and Pam Bondi are election deniers. Keep in mind of that. They do not believe that he lost the 2020 election when we saw it as clear as day who the winner of that election was. Donald Trump lost. And the thing is, he is a big, fat ass orange baby that cannot accept defeat.
Here's the thing, too. Like, you have to wonder if these people really believe that or if they're just on the bandwagon because they know that one, they need job security, and two, hope for, promotion in the future. These people are just jumping on the bandwagon with this guy. You know, everybody's just falling in line, falling into place because they're afraid to lose their job, like Judge Jean Pirro, whatever the fuck her name is.
Oh, the box wine lady.
Right.
Yeah, she loves her
Um,
box wine.
you know, all these things that everybody just jumps on board with whatever he says.
Because they're scared. They don't want retribution. The
Hmm.
same way, if he feels you can be as loyal to him as possible, he will still fire you. The same way he fired Tulsi Gabbard, the same way he fired Pam Bondi. You can
Right.
be as loyal as plain as day to him, and he will fire you. He will let you go.
Right. Goes back to fear. Fear.
The same ideology that dictates the spin. Yes, that's what they do when they get on CNN. So when you see Scott Jennings and so many others get up there, it makes your skin crawl at the same time because they are using the same talking points as him. Like the words that they will say is trust me, bro. Just trust me, bro. You know I got this. Trust me.
Hmm.
No, I'm not trusting the fuck ass thing that you say. Because you lie. If you voted for this man and he's sitting up here lying, I can't
Yep.
trust what you're saying.
Yep.
I'd rather deal with reality. Or what did Kellyanne Conway say? Because she was in his regime years when he first got in office. She said alternative facts. They deal in alternative facts.
Right.
We deal
Alternative
in
facts.
truth and reality. The
Yep.
same way Nancy Grace absolutely got down to the bottom of Nolan Wells's case right there
Absolutely.
with Officer
Yep.
Tatum. And this
Yep.
man is still out here playing in our face. You going off on DL Hughley because he called you a mediocre cop. You are.
Yep. That's right.
Let me read. Well, Christianity. Christianity. I've told you about that, Deshaun. That's 16th Mountain Mandates and Manifest Destiny. That's what this is. It is white Christian nationalism. And it is time that we put a name on it because that's what this is. They feel as though if you're not white or if you're not white or born here in this country, you're not pure. They've always looked at black people as filth. They've always looked at us as dirt and the scum of the earth. Look at what they did to our ancestors. They've ripped out the fetuses of our pregnant ancestors, thrown them off of boats and had the sharks follow boats, strung us up by trees. Why do you think alligator Auschwitz? I'm not even calling it Alcatraz. It's alligator Auschwitz because it's similar to Germany, Auschwitz. The same way they treated Jewish people. If you're
Right.
not from this country, if you don't have white skin, if you are not white, you're not welcome here. If you're from Europe, they don't even care if you're from Europe. They're deporting people. They're putting people in camps. You
Right.
can align yourselves with them, Officer Tatum. But when the buck runs dry, let's see what you do then. And I
That's
see
right.
even white supremacists like Nick Fuentes, who had dinner with Orange Piggy, changing his tune saying, don't vote Republican, vote Democrat. But see, here's the thing though, it's not that simple, Nick, because you have some who are taking money from AIPAC, who are right along with Israel and Bibi Netanyahu. You got John Fetterman out here who is now a mouthpiece saying he's going to leave the Democratic Party. Your
Hmm.
ass should have been left the Democratic Party because you're not a Democrat. You're low key a Republican. That's what you are.
It's time for a change. It's time for a change.
You need something youthful. Kamala was youthful. This man is literally got 1 foot on the land and 1 foot on the grave. Now tell me how the hell is a 100-year-old man? You're not Jimmy Carter. See, Jimmy Carter lasted a long time. He made it all the way to 100 years old. But you, on the other hand, Donald, you got 1 foot on the land and 1 foot on the grave. We saw your fucking cankles. We saw that blemish on your hand and on the back of that neck that looks like a pack of sausage rolls.
Oh my gosh.
Some of those Democrats are not really Democrats. Malcolm X said it best. White people look at black people as 3%. Yes, less than 3%. Exactly, Naptown. And how are you doing? I miss you, and it's been a minute. Democrats are actually secret agents from the white wing. Well, there are some out here. You need to be progressive and you need to be social. As Native said, Aquino said in the comments earlier, socialism is for the people. When you think of social media, there's millions of people worldwide who are watching and clicking and liking what you're doing. So when I think of social, I think of everybody.
Yeah.
And we need socialism. Now you
I
just
think
seen what's her name, Laura Ingraham on Fox News say, well, I'm gonna try to get some Democrats to come on board. We gotta get rid of socialism. because you're not trying to help the people. You're trying to help the 1%, and the 1% is Elon Musk, Donald Trump, Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg. What's his name in Argentina? That's the people he's trying to help. He's not
Yeah.
trying to help the people.
You have to align yourself with a party that has the most values that align with what you want, that you believe in, or that are important to you. That's what it is. I mean, if it's socialist, socialist, why does this country give socialism a bad name? So what? We should have more than two parties here. We should have more than Democratic and Republican. There should be socialist. People, you're allowed to have different views. What's important to you in your way of living. Shit, if I could live, if I could self-sustain myself, I would move up out of here right now and do it. And who knows, maybe that's in the future for me. Get away from
Uh,
all this. You don't need the city life. You don't need all this. Grow your own food. Have a solar panel on the top of your house. Be done.
there are some people who are living off grid, to Marco's
Right.
point. Our colleague Alvin, tit for tat, this and that, he is in South Africa right now. He was in Texas, but he's in South Africa. And when I did the show with Noel yesterday, he was talking about how the culture and the time differences and everything is in South Africa versus the United States. Trump is trying to end voting. He wants to be the president till he passes away. Yes,
Uh-huh.
it
That's
doesn't
it.
sound like a dictatorship, Naptown. It is a dictatorship. This is a dictatorship. And shout outs to Melissa Ford, Hot and Bothered podcast. She called it exactly what it was. This is a dictatorship. Because just think about it. Why does he want this $430 million ballroom? What's so intricate about this ballroom? And when I heard bunker, I put two and two together. Bunker. When it's
Yeah.
time for you to leave, you're take your bitch ass and hide in that bunker.
Right.
That's what you're going to do. The
Right.
same way Mussolini has a secret hiding place, the same way
Well, he
Putin
wants to be
has
able
a
to hide there
secret
now
hiding place,
because they want to do him in right
and they
now.
can run and control and do whatever they're doing, just like Naptown said. Dictatorship.
Hmm. Of course. He wants a lavish lifestyle. He wants, America to be so grand and so much grandeur. He wants the ballroom to be gold. He wants, the arch, and he wants the blue reflecting pool. And I'm all for upgrading, the United States monument so it becomes a place where people come to visit and love America and all this stuff. But right now, at the taxpayers' expense, and people can't even afford to live. You got to do that in moderation. Thousands of people lost their job when they came through with Doge and cut everybody's job.
Keep in mind, 300,000 African American women lost their jobs as well too.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
He
People
has the
dying in
bunker
wars
because
right
he
now we don't even want. You said it. 76% of the people don't even want the war.
exactly native. And I have a nickname for him, and I had Deshaun cackling when I told him this. I said "bunker bitch" because that's where he's gonna go when this shit pops off with Iran, and they retaliate back, and they got their nuclear, and they got
That's right.
430 billion of our dollars. What do you think they're going to do?
That's
Why
right.
their mural was a telltale sign, and now he's having to amp up security, take security measures at the White House. Aaron Parnes from Midas Touch Network reported on that.
Hmm.
So what does that
That's
tell
why he
you?
wants
He's
it built.
already paranoid as
Hmm.
is. He don't know whether he's going or coming. That man is not gonna make it. But I can
Right.
tell you who's next in line. Couch fucker. That's who's next in line. And he said if something happens to Donald Trump, he would be happy to take over. And
Yeah.
JD Vance is just as dangerous, if not more nefarious than Donald Trump. Mark
Yes, he
my
is.
words. Because if you go back and you look at that debate with him and Tim Walz, what was the question that was asked to him, Marcos? Did Donald Trump win or lose the 2020 election? And what was his response, y'all? He says, I'm worried about the future, end quote. We're not talking about the future, motherfucker. We're
Right.
talking about did this motherfucker lose or win the 2020 election?
Yep. That's right. That's right. That's right. Oh no.
Donald Trump said he feels young again in time. Yeah, he feels young, all right. He's Benjamin Button, the curious case of Benjamin Button. And y'all seen that with Brad Pitt, where they made aged him and made him look older. No, you're not getting younger, Donald. With the toupee is fucked up. Your face is fucked up. We see the tan lines. We see the orange makeup. You shit your diaper. You've got a gut every time your stomach, when you stand inside of the mirror in the east wing of the house, we can see protruding over your belly button. And I know old men have a thing where they pull their fucking pants up all the way past their navel. We see it, motherfucker. You are sick. You are dying. And he loves his McDonald's, Deshaun. He
He
does.
sure
Keep
does.
eating all of the cholesterol, Donald, and bring us joy, because we're just waiting on that announcement. And I'm standing in front of my closet and I have a dress picked out for when that announcement comes out.
Oh my gosh.
What color dress am I going to wear? Someone said they wanted to sit next to me at the funeral. In one of the lives, I think it was Chef Sky. Um, Red. It'll be red.
We do. Oh man.
You got the hourglass. I know, and I know a lot of us shouldn't be waiting on that moment, but the cruelty that this man has inflicted upon people, no remorse. Someone like that who does not care who they hurt, breaking apart families, separating people away from their children, ICE agents out here terrorizing communities. You're busting into Home Depots. At the beginning of this man's second term, what did they do? They busted into Home Depots. They went to CVS. They're going to daycares, terrorizing children. Children are scared to go to school. Parents mainly are scared to take their children to school. We should not have to live like this. But y'all wanted this because y'all saw, and I'm going to just be politically incorrect, and I don't ever like talking like this in front of Marcos. It's not ladylike. Y'all saw tits and a vagina, and y'all said, no, we can't get with that. We're going to vote for the 34-time convicted felon. Kamala
Right.
was a woman, and she was black, and that was her crime. But you have a convicted felon over here that's mentioned in the Epstein files over 1,000 times. Why haven't we seen the unredacted version yet?
Yep. That's right. That's right.
She wanted better for you. Affordability, first time homeowners. What did this man say about affordability? Who cares about affordability? We do, the American people do.
Yeah, she had a plan mapped out even for, black people for owning businesses. She had a plan.
I just don't understand why people could vote against their own interest. But I just said it. It's in a nutshell. Y'all saw tits and y'all saw a vagina. And y'all saw black melanin. Y'all saw a woman. The same way you did in Georgia with Stacey Abrams. The
Hmm.
same way in Texas you did with Jasmine Crockett. Now James Tallarico has to do all of this legwork to try to get the black vote. And keep pushing harder. James Tallarico, you called a black man mediocre. And until you, I'm not in Texas, but until you apologize to Colin Allred for calling that black man a mediocre black man, when we know who's the mediocre men in this country, one of them is running the goddamn military, and he can't keep his hands to put a bottle down anytime soon.
Yep. That's so true.
Takes breath, but you call a black man mediocre.
Hmm.
Until you apologize, until you apologize to Colin Allred, I'm not endorsing you. I'm not promoting you. I'm not telling my supporters to follow you. And one thing that gets me about Bernie Sanders and Gavin Newsom is until y'all are willing to have a conversation about racism and transphobia, I'm not promoting a goddamn thing over here on my platform, telling my followers to follow you, because racism is allowed in living. And according to a black conservative by the name of Wesley Hunt, Jim Crow is gone. Absolutely the fuck not. Why did the Supreme Court gut Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act? Kamala was trying to push to get the John Lewis Voting Rights Act passed.
Right. That's right. Mm-hmm. Yep.
And what did the Supreme Court do? They ended not just that, but they ended temporary protection statuses for Haitian Americans.
Mm-hmm.
Now Haitian Americans are having to wear ankle monitors or either self-deport, and you're going to pay them for it like you did with the Latino Americans. Bullshit. It's all smoke and mirrors. You're not going to pay them anything. What? Just like Elon Musk promised y'all $5,000 dividends, right? How's that going for you? He's a trillionaire, and you're sitting here struggling to keep bread and water on your goddamn
That's
table,
right.
to keep your
That's right.
medications intact.
That's right.
It's not hitting. And I love the fact, Black Native, that it is not hitting. It is out loud because as a Black trans woman in rural red South Carolina, where white people smile in your face, but when your back is turned, look at that Black bitch walking down the street. That's
Yep.
exactly how they think about you.
Right. That's right.
And I
That's
love
right.
the fact that he has allowed them to show, and it's a quote from Maya Angelou. When people show you who they truly are, believe them. And you guys have shown us clearly who you truly are. 47 made it acceptable to be openly racist. He did. He emboldens them. He emboldens them. He brings out the worst of the
Right.
worst. And not
Yep.
just that, but sexual predators. Andrew
Right.
Tate. And there's so many others out here that's connected to him as well, too. So you're worried about queer
It's,
people and who's protecting the children, but you should be protecting your children away from these individuals.
yeah, it's given license to so many different things, and America it still's got problems. We have wounds. We have, a history um, that needs to be taken care of, that needs to be confronted, that needs to be healed before we can move forward. We still have people who are native to this land on a reservation with limited rights. This land was stolen, some of it paid for, but most of it stolen, but paid for it, in a way that was not really comparable to what its value was. People got hoodwinked. People got brought here as the first commercial product of this country, meaning slavery. There are a lot of things that need to be confronted in this country. And a very few number of people are running this country to the benefit of themselves and their liking. The people like them.
And these rallies, the people in the audience are just brainwashed. Y'all are sitting there listening to this man lie to your face. Y'all are sitting up here allowing this man to play in y'all's face. That's what y'all are doing. He's the one that created toxic ideas to all these men. Andrew Tate. Oh, the Joe Rogans, the Andrew Tates, the
Mhm.
Dana Whites, all of
Well,
them.
one thing I have to say too is, we got to stop posting this stuff on social media. All these things that are not for our benefit. Why do I want to see fighting? Fighting in Applebee's and McDonald's over some cold French fries. Like those kind of things we don't need to see on social media anymore. We need to take control of that and stop portraying ourselves in a way that make us look less than our value. We have to stop posting those things. If there's an injustice that's being recorded, yeah, that's fine. But all this other stuff, I don't want to see fighting on social media because that's what everybody thinks we do. Oh boy, I walk into a place, oh boy, here they are, and we don't want them here. Nobody wants to serve us, or people are following us around the store. So we have to take control. We have to take the responsibility for our own actions. We can sit here and bitch and moan all we want to, but how do we empower ourselves to take control over our own destiny? What can we do? What do we do collectively? What can we do individually? And I think that's where we are right now. We have to.
Donald Trump has the media. Yeah. And this is where you're going to start to see. If you go to the whitehouse.gov, they have, what is it, Democrat something as it pertains to journalists that they don't like that are speaking the truth to power. And you said 60 seconds, Deshaun, you mean 60 minutes. They were considering putting Joe Rogan there as a host for 60 minutes. And that show's been around for a long time.
Mhm.
So yes, what you're seeing in state ran media, you have no choice but to trust a one Mike Knight, a Danielle Moody, a Marcos
Mhm.
Luis one Mike Knight podcast,
Well, as we
a
said
conscious.
earlier, though, we have to get various sources of information. I think
Yeah,
it's okay. We have a CNN that has a sort of a Democratic view. They're media, but they have a Democratic view. We have The View, this show itself. They have a Democratic view. Then we have Fox Network. They have a Republican view, conservative view. It's okay. I think it's okay to have those things, but we have to recognize what it is. And we have to seek other sources. So I have to go to Style by Stevie channel to listen and see what Style by Miss Stevie's saying. And then I have to go over to Joe Rogan's podcast and listen to him. And then Joe Budden. And then, Hot and Fresh. I think that was the name of the other podcast you had. Or whatever these other sources and outlets are, we have to go and take those and then digest it and then make our own educated decisions on things that are happening.
they have an all white FB. We did that. Listen, yes, play might as well break. Oh, Candace Owens can stay right where she's at. Like I said at the beginning of the show, I said what I said in the beginning of the show. That's why I got in trouble, and I told Marcos that because I said some colorful things about Megyn Kelly. She came from Beyonce. Y'all know I'm a part of the Beehive, and y'all have compared me to Beyonce as far as my work ethic. And one thing I don't play about is Queen Bee. I don't play about Michelle Obama either. So when she got up there and opened her mouth and spoke on Michelle Obama and Beyonce, two women I love, it was up from there. And I said, this bitch can literally go fuck herself. And Instagram saw that and they say, boom, up, you can't go live for 180 days. Yep.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
I got Charlie Kirk's right. No, Drewski did it excellent. Shout outs to Drewski. Because what he did was he turned a mirror on white conservative women, their
Mm,
thinking, their
yes.
ways, their ideology. So fuck Erica Kirk. She's a grifter just like her husband, and her husband got put up in a blender and popped like popcorn. Sorry, Lord, I want good karma, but y'all, Marco said, let go, let loose. Y'all asked for it. Y'all asked for it. Charlie Kirk's wife. No, Drewski did excellent. Spot
Yeah, I mean,
on.
obviously you don't condone, I can't speak for you, but I don't condone any kind of violence, but it's inevitable. You popping shit's gonna pop you. And, I
And
hate to
he
say it
died
like
on the
that, but
sword that he created because what did he say
right,
about gun rights? And
right.
we have been calling for common sense, what y'all? Gun reform. And
Mm-hmm.
Republicans refused to
Refused it.
negotiate.
Refused. Mm-hmm.
Even Bill
For
Clinton was talking
years.
about common sense gun reform. Republicans still refused.
Yep.
She became
Yep.
him. You're talking about Erica Kirk, the non-grieving widow, and we saw her putting those damn tears in her eyes. Come on now. Yes, exactly, Naptown. She's black when it's convenient for her. When her and Erica Kirk was going at it, it brought me so much joy. I love it. I love it. I love to
Yeah.
see them
Me
eat each
too.
other up.
Me too. Me too. But that's
It
kind
doesn't
of
cost
weird.
a
There's some
penny
weird
for us to
dynamics
say.
in that whole situation because how can, how can he be friends with Candace Owens? They were tight. They have the same view. She's a black woman, he's a white man. So it's so deep and intertwined and I can't figure it out. I can't.
She was put there to do exactly what she needed to do, and that is to say basically that black people, we play victim all the time when for 400 years, as Marcos just stated, we have been the victims. Have you ever had your home redlined? Have you
Hmm.
ever been told, no, you can't come through this door, you got to go through the other door?
Right.
Have you ever been torn down because of the way your name sounds? You fill it out on a job application, and if your name even sounds black, you've been told no. But if you have a name that sounds white, you could get the job. Have you ever been
Right.
told that? But she thinks that black people, we play the victim. Bitch, we have been the victims for 400 fucking
For
years.
100 years. Right. And you can walk around and live in a bubble, live in your own bubble all you want to, but the reality is when you try to get into the Hermes store, they see a black woman standing outside, they gotta check the list and see if you're on it. You're not on it. They don't care if you're Candace Owen, they don't care if you're Oprah Winfrey, you're still a black woman.
And don't
They
get me
see that
started on
first.
the whole conversation about respectability. And I've talked about that this morning, the whole bonnets in the classroom thing. Let me say this respectability. I understand that there's a time and a place for everything. You can wear your bonnet if you're right, going to the store quick in the morning or whatever, like that, boom, 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 and take your hair out and it looks like mine. But listen, if you go into class, yes, it's a certain way you should present yourself. But at the end of the day, respectability politics will not save us as black people because it doesn't matter if you're wearing like what I'm wearing, an evening gown, or if you're wearing something like what Marcos is wearing, a t-shirt and a pair of jeans or whatever it may be. They will always find a way to racially profile against you. And just
Yes.
like Marcos said with the Hermes store example, they follow you around the store. If your name is not on that list, you could be rich in the richest in the world. And Oprah even
Hmm.
shared a story where she went into a store and they refused to sell her a handbag.
Right.
So it doesn't matter what wealth or status or how many college degrees you got, how you're dressed. Respectability politics will not save you from racism and white supremacy. And I hope this gets to Officer Tatum as well too, because you are doing some buck dancing. Your tongue should be black from all of the polish that you are licking off of the shoes of these fucking white supremacists. And we know exactly what our girl Harriet Tubman would do if she was still here alive and living. She would take your black ass out to the woodshed and she would treat you like old yellow. And no, trans people, we are not terrorists. That's what they wanted to do, the FBI. They wanted to label us as counter-terrorists. We're not the enemy. The real enemy is in 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. The real enemy is over the military. The real enemy is over health and human services. The real enemy is in the Department of Education. Do I need to go on to where the real enemies are? But you're
And
worried
that's the
about less
thing.
than
Like you
1% of the
named
population.
all these organizations, and that's the problem is they have everyone in place. Everyone in place. And we have nothing there's nothing we can do.
He's
We have to
instilled
go along with
every
it until
Exactly. Every branch of government has been purged.
has been
Remember,
purged.
he fired 3 federal election
Hmm.
commissioners, the ones who are
Yep.
supposed to oversee, where campaign funds, election funds are
Right.
supposed to be going. He fired them
He
as a
fired him.
way, and already know
Hmm.
what he's going to do. The same way he fired Pam Bondi, threw her picture in the trash. It was posted on social media. We all saw it. The same way he fired Pam Bondi and replaced her with Todd Blanche, what do y'all think he's going to do with these 3 federal election commissioner workers? What do you think he's going to do? He is going to replace them with loyalists.
Of course. That's his
Why do you
plan.
think he
That's what
pardoned
we said
Tina
earlier.
Peters? He pardoned
Project
Tina Peters.
2025. He said it. He said it in they said it in Project 2025. He didn't say it. Whoever, the people that wrote it, he claims he didn't know anything about Project 2025 at the time. But they're implementing everything that was written in there. Loyalists being the number one thing. People to do his bidding.
And Todd
And here
Blanche, if
we are.
y'all think that he's not, you're sadly mistaken.
Yep.
He's put there to do exactly what needs to be done.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes. Oh, Sean, don't get me started on the mass shootings in the schools. Thoughts and prayers. That's what they always go to. And as I stated earlier, how about some common sense gun reform? And no, there ain't no transgender shooters out here.
Oh,
Y'all love to blame shift and blame everybody else. When he first got in office, what did they start doing? And I see Scott Bessent do it. I see Jim Jordan do it. Well, they blame Biden. Blame Biden. Biden is not the president right now. The president is Orange Piggy. That's who's the president right now. So no, Biden and Obama, you can't blame them for every single thing. And
nope.
Roy Woods Jr., who is a comedian, I love him. He hosted the Daily Show. Said that you can't go around here blaming Biden and Obama for every single thing when they gave you two great economies. And what is he doing with this economy right now? Are we great yet? I showed y'all how much gas was. Go to my shorts and you will see how much gas is down here in South Carolina. And y'all can see how great we are.
Hmm.
And I'll land my plane there as we conclude today's show because we went over an hour. And this was
As we
needed.
should. As we should. Miss Stevie and Marcos Luis.
And what advice would you give to people? Because I know we're living in a time that people tune into your platform to get I know I do, for an escape. The gentleman that you have on there saying, ways that we as Black people can protect our mental health. Because racism is mentally exhausting. To be able to go
Absolutely.
into your job and you're racially profiled and you're fired and you're let go, you hit all of the qualifications, all of the check marks and check off in each box. What do? They let you go because you're Black.
Yeah,
You're going
exactly.
somewhere and you're being harassed by someone who has a Trump 2028 sticker on their car. That is out loud, in your face, in your space.
Yep. And it goes back to what we were talking about earlier. We have the economic power. We have to embolden ourselves, empower ourselves, build a community, and realize that we are in control of our own destiny by building our own businesses, owning real estate, taking advantage of this AI bubble right now before it's too late to increase your finances, learn about the stock market, each one teach one. You know what I mean? Like we have to do all those things. It's your responsibility. It's my responsibility to take control, you
And I
know?
want you guys to remember that as well. Also, we have the power. The power is with us as Black voters, which is why they fought so hard for us. Even in 2024, you saw what they did. Ballot boxes were set on fire. You saw all of the things and measures that they took. He tried to go on ahead and instill people at the polls to try to intimidate people from voting, which thank God for I cannot remember his name. I cannot remember his name. He says, "Oh, we're going to have ICE agents at the polls."
Yeah, I can't remember his name either. Yep. Intimidation tactics.
Why do y'all think that they're doing these things? Because they know that there's going to be a massive wave of change that is coming, and it's called
Absolutely.
socialism.
Hmm.
We're headed in a new direction, and I can't tell you how long more Trumpism is going to go on because that's what this is. I can't tell you when the next presidential candidate who is going to possibly be. I can't tell you, but I can tell you this: that it has to be someone who is for the people, as Native and Deshaun were saying in the comments earlier, and I think even Just Guy said it and alluded to it as well. It has to be someone who is for the people. And it has to be someone who understands that racism is still here and alive and living. So I'm going to
Right.
conclude today's show about the rebirthing process because America is undergoing a rebirthing process. And I'm glad that people are finally waking up and seeing that America hasn't been so great. As Native stated earlier, he is emboldened and brought out the worst of the worst, and I mean racist of the racist. So I'm going to leave you with the final thought today. You were born a child of light's wonderful secret. You return to the beauty you have always been. And this comes from a book titled Dressed in Black. And I want you guys to remember that, because the rebirthing process, and I give you an example, and my brother K Tooks used this example as well too, and I think Marcos was one of the ones who also called me and reached out about the fire, and I love him and I thank him for that. Uh, he says that a phoenix rises from the ashes, and as you guys can see, I have risen from the ashes. There are days when I've had my days when I'm down, when I'm depressed, when I'm sad, but I've always bounced back. And July 2nd was the year that I came back. That was when I came back, the month that I came back, because the fire happened in June, just not too long ago. And even Anthony Riley, he said, Miss Stevie, how did you, we wasn't expecting you to come back so fast. Because I'm a woman and I'm strong and I'm powerful. And it's inside me, it's in our DNA for us to bounce back from tragedy. We cry, we break, yes. But at the end of the day, we always come back. It's a rebirthing process. So for each and every one of us, this right here is just the beginning. So buckle up, prepare yourself, because we know what we're up against. We shouldn't have to question it. You guys know you have an assignment. We all have an assignment, and that is November 3rd. Get out and vote. Make sure you're registered. Go check your registration, because he's trying some fuck shit. He purged voters off of the rolls. They did it in 2020.
That's right.
Check your
That's
voter
right.
registration. Go to vote.org.
Register. Hmm.
Find your polling location, all of that. If you're not sure, get in your car and go and ask someone.
Vote early. If you
Early
can vote
voting.
early, vote early. I want to. Can I say one quick thing
And
before
on
we
campus.
sign off? So
What
first of all, thank you everybody who joined this. I appreciate it. One Mic Night is in its 20th year, 20th anniversary as of July. So 20 years of One Mic Night. Please check out my platform. I'm working on 3 different films right now. I'm working on one called My Date with Death, written by Abraham Frederick. That's in pre-production. One by a Nigerian writer. His name is Debo Williams. It's called The Unseen. It's a short film. I'm executive producing that. And then one that's in production is a fan-made Spider-Man film, BJR Productions, by a young writer named Brandon. Look out for that. Look out for a celebration from One Mic Night. Huge 20th anniversary celebration coming up. So thank you, Miss Stevie. I love you. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it. And thank you for all the work that you do for the community. And keep going. Keep going. Keep going.
I most certainly will. I love you too, and we got to do this again. We will talk. We're gonna
Definitely.
set something up, and make sure you guys go
Never gonna
and
stop. We're never gonna stop.
at all. Never. We have to do the voices for the voiceless, and more importantly, make sure that we're sharing our stories, and not just that, but Kim Coles, she used to do a series, I don't know if she still does it, called Sharing Your Gifts. You have to continue to keep sharing your gifts. Make sure that you are out here spreading this knowledge to your family members as well too.
Absolutely.
Because I remember sitting down and having the conversation with my aunt, my grandmother, and my mom about Project 2025. And
Yeah.
my mom was more so like, had her head in the sand. Now I'm like, Mom, didn't I warn you and I tell you about this?
Yeah.
So yeah, make sure that you're staying aware, staying vigilant as well. And more importantly, make sure that you are following trusted news sources. One Mike Night Podcast, Marcos Luis, Conscious TV, Danielle Moody, Don Lemon, Mary Trump Media. She is the niece of Donald Trump, but she can't
Hmm.
stand his ass. And I love it. I could, if I was in New York and I met her, I would be like, okay, Mary, we could hang out, girl. We could go get drinks or something like that. Like literally. So y'all go and check her out. If you want to know how dangerous this man is, Too Much and Never Enough was the book that she wrote. So y'all go and check it out. Definitely. And I'll close with that. I will be back. Let's see. Tomorrow is Wednesday. Thursday, August 6th, Jay Wright's joining me. So make sure you guys tune in for that. I love you all, and the replay will be up. Take care, Fashion Dolls. And as always, be safe out there. Talk to you soon.
Thank you.
You too.